the weather does not hold these people back here.
Right.
They still have the events. And one of the reasons why is because these people that have the events have already put something in their selves that say, I want to advocate for peace on this day because murder ain't stopping in the rain. So I'm not going to stop in the rain. So we had events. We had the kickoff rally in Emerson Village. We had nobody die on Friday. We had nobody die on Saturday.
We had nobody even get shot Saturday, which is that's a big
deal. No, that is a huge deal.
I started an organization called the Evolution of Perspective, and wanted to bring people together. It initially started as a women's only rap session, so women would come together and we would bond over women things. And when I talked about it, men were like, well, how come men can't come? And I was like, well, it's a women's only session. And they were like, well, can we just come and listen? Because we want to hear what y'all talking about. And I'm like, yeah, y'all can come, y'all can listen, but y'all can't talk because it's a women's only session. And then they were like, I mean, that's fair, but it's kind of not fair. And I was like, all right, so I'm going to make a session for women and men so that y'all have an opportunity to talk. And then out of that was born a session where we talk about relationship issues, and not necessarily romantic relationships. It can be any relationship. Did a series of those probably for like 4 years. Incredible experiences, gems always being dropped. One of the first ones I did, it started at 7. It was supposed to end at 10, and we wrapped up like 2:00 in the morning. Just sitting people building and learning from one another and really, really understanding. And the purpose of the rap sessions are really to help people's perspectives evolve. That's what I call the evolution of perspective. So, for example, one of the questions that I asked was, do you still believe in love? Because people say, oh yeah, and people don't think about that. One of the other questions that I asked was, what do you do when pain shows up in your life? And then I asked the question, what are some of the greatest lessons that you've learned from the opposite sex? And out of those 3 questions, the things that people said, like there were people who were there that said things that stuck with me so deeply, like that it reminded me of who I was before life started like knocking me around. Like it was, yeah. And so, wonderful. And it's a safe space. So I remember when I was talking about it on Facebook when I first started doing it, men were like, I'm not coming to that. Like, you're not going to get me in no space and have, women bet. And I'm like, I understand that battle of the sex.
So the very first thing that we told people when Baltimore Ceasefire 365 started, actually it was Baltimore Ceasefire when we first started, it was, this is your movement. It's not our movement. This is your movement. And whatever it is you feel like you should do to advocate for peace and nonviolence, you do that, and we will give you everything we possibly can give you, and we'll take whatever you want. We'll put it on our platform and let people know about it so they can come to it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It could be as big or it could be as small. And no matter what it is, this is your movement. Because at the end of the day, it's Baltimore that's being nonviolent and stopping the murders, not the 6 of us, because the 6 of us wasn't murdering nobody.
Right.
So we were asking Baltimore. So if we ask Baltimore to do it, we can't say this is our movement. It's not the 6 of us movement, it's Baltimore's movement. That's the first thing. And then what it did is it created a self-determination on what does peace look like to me and how do I want to celebrate it in my space and in my neighborhood and in my community. And how do I want other people to do it that I influence or I know or something like that? So it was basically about the community doing what the community feels it should be done, not what we were telling the community it should be done. Right. Because I can't tell you what peace looks like to you. What I look like telling you what peace looks like to you?
You look like a white guy.
Right. So when we came about it, it came with a lot of the mediation principles that we had, and it was voluntary. it was self-determination. It was you were willing to do it. If you were willing to do it, then okay. If you're willing to do it, then yeah, we here so you can do it. And whatever you want to do, and the best part about it is when people wanted to do events and they came to us and say, "How would you do it?" We were like, "How would you do it?"
What is your highest vision of the event?
Right.
Like, if you could create a dream event, what would it look like? Go do that thing.
Go do that thing.
And what you all are talking
to create, and in that space that, you know, again, building self-esteem. There are people who have participated in Ceasefire who actually built their own movements because they participated in Ceasefire. There are people who have connected with people that they would have never come in contact with because they participated in Ceasefire. There are people who, even though they lost a loved one to violence, still said to themselves, I want to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And I mean, who can ask for something better than that?
You can't. You can't. And one of the things that I really
want to ask you, because I said, first of all, I say, no, you don't have to ask me anything.
Right.
Don't ask me nothing. If you want to do it, whatever you want to do, you do it. All I'm asking
I'm sorry, real quick. Look at the bottom. Y'all got a thing from Michael. Okay.
BeMoreCeasefire@gmail.com.
All right, make sure you get at him, Michael, because and that's one of the reasons I love bringing you.
About it is, and here's some of the challenges that we've had to be put up with when it comes to other organizations. They go, well, how are you doing this with no money, or how are you doing this? Like, yo, we're doing this because we basically said to Baltimore, we're empowering you to say, this is what we want peace to look like in Baltimore City. And all we're saying is use that, whatever you got within yourself and ideas you got in your mind, to perceive what you want them to look at and see what you think peace is going to look like. And we've had some of the most beautiful events we've had. That's life, man. And you're like, that's what that is.
I'm going to pause real quick and acknowledge this comment. Michael Randolph said, we love to train 3 of your members in professional grant proposal writing for free. My phone number is 410-446-8997. Please call me.
Say it again.
446-8997. I don't mind saying, because my number on Facebook anyway. 410-446-8997. Please call me. Yes.
And I want to give a big shout out to Michael about that, because a lot of times we see organizations doing good stuff and we give them a shout out in our head, or we tell people like whatever. But big up to when you actually step into it, because that's what you all did. And so one of the things that, as you all are talking, I realized we've been big up to the Baltimore Ceasefire movement and all the work that they're doing. Big up to Michael Randolph, who's going to be putting them down, making sure they get the cash that they need to keep the movement going strong.